It's just push the button.
Just push the button.
Thank you, Susan. Welcome to the Franconia Community Church. I am Cindy Berlack. I'm part of the lay leadership team here, and I'm very proud to be here today, enjoying the beautiful mountains and fresh air and this wonderful company. We have a few announcements. I think Robert has a few, and you have some?
Okay. Well, first I got we got this new sound system in addition to our amps. If anyone is hard of hearing and still can't hear, we have individual receivers you should be able to get. So if you can't hear me now, raise your hand and Shirley will bring you one. A couple other announcements. My dad isn't able to be here today, but he has some geranium flowers to give away if anyone wants to plant them in their garden. They're in the little buckets right behind the camera, and you're welcome to take one of those and plant it at your house after the service. Well, those perennials or annuals? They're whatever. They're the kind that keeps on going and going year after year. Dad is the gardener. I complete black thumb when it comes to plants. So anything with plants around our house you see is totally to Dad's credit, not mine. I also have a couple of announcements from Judy. First is Cabot Cheese is donating 12 pounds of extra sharp cheddar cheese to the Wednesday supper, be delivered to the church by October 1st. Judy says, on a personal note, her watercolor painting class is running at the Littleton Studio in October. If enough people sign up, it runs on Tuesday morning, starting October 5th, ending October 26th, 9:30 to noon. Registration online via the Studio School website. Went on the website, click sign up for a class, and click the image of a painting of roses to sign up for Judy's class if you are interested. Thank you.
A couple of others. There's going to be a cleanup day after church next Sunday, and that's led by Tom Allen. And so if you can join, just join or be in touch with Tom. The other thing is that John has come up with a wonderful plan to make a garden shed over in the parking lot on the other side of the church. And after church, he's willing to explain the project, to go over there, and so we can be able to envision it. So thanks, John. We'll just meet over there after church, anybody that would like to. I'll read the call of worship in your bulletin, and please respond where it says people. May our time together this morning be a comfort. May we here find peace in times of tumult.
May we here find calm in times of restlessness.
May we here allow restlessness to evolve into action.
Let us consider what we never considered.
Let us imagine something new and unthinkable.
It is our dreams and ways.
Come, let us worship together. We'll now sing For the Beauty of the Earth, number 56 in our hymnal. Let's read together the summary of the law as printed in your bulletin. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your heart, and all your strength. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Please let's read also together the prayer of confession. We are thankful there is an all-knowing God, all-loving God, who comforts us when we are unable to live up to all we can be. We are but human with many frailties. We sometimes fall short of being messengers of God's love in thought, word, and deed. In the face of our inadequacies, we are inspired to reach for greater heights. We can demand more of ourselves, stabilize to create our own calm, deepen our understanding of others. We can do more to soothe the souls of those around us, just as we need to be soothed. Please, all-knowing God, our higher power, help us to be better. We'll now pass the peace, and if we can stand and choose a few people to just really look them in the eye, and you can present the peace sign, maybe. Thank you.
Robert, peace, John.
Great.
Peace, Blair.
And peace and love to all of you. I'd like now to read the prayer list. Those people who have recently passed away. Valerie Adam, Ted, could we read it together, please? Ted Yawanicki, William Jeffcoat, and we'd like to also pray for those in need. Lincoln Daniel Anderson, Rita Farrell, Phyllis Toll, Chuck Luxicus, Gwen Jeffcoat, Ken Ford, Harry Chadwick, Don and Tom Giroux, Caitlin Wilkinson and baby girl Addison James, Susan Strong, and Kirk Luce. And we come to the time of prayers and concerns, and I have some leaves here. If anybody has a prayer or a concern, they can come up and take a leaf out of this heart-shaped basket and put it in this other basket. So you can tell us about your joys and concerns. I'd like to start off with a joy that the sun just came out and we're here today and it's not raining, and I appreciate so much the beautiful fall weather we're sharing.
I guess I have two. Well, actually, I have two joys. One is Kirk is doing really, really well. He's actually putting together our washer and dryer this morning. But through all this year, all your help and everything has just been fantastic, and your support. And this year really made me rethink things about life and what really means something. So that's one of my joys. My other joy is that my baby granddaughter is going to be born hopefully within the next 5 weeks. So Michelle is pretty much resting all the time. She's working all the time, but she's resting a lot. But Mimi was having fun putting together baby furniture and setting up a nursery. So we hope to have another little addition to our church soon, Sophia.
I'd like to pray for Robin Lukovan and Susan Strong, who aren't here today because of possible COVID exposure. So hopefully it turns out to be nothing. Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayers.
Lord, hear our prayer.
I'd like to pray for the people of California caught up in the wildfire. Lord, hear our prayers.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Joys of granddaughters. My first lovely granddaughter was married last weekend, and she had a wonderful wedding. I must say, just before the wedding, it was an outdoor wedding, it poured. It absolutely poured. And just as she was about to come out of the house to be married, the sun came out. So I wish them a happy life. Thank you.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Not hearing any more prayers from you, I'd like to take a leaf, and this represents all the prayers that are kept silent in our hearts, and may we have the energy and the love to make those better. Lord, hear our prayer. Could we have a moment of silent prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. We'd like to now have the offering. Do we have some baskets?
Yep.
Yeah. Freely we receive the gifts of this church. Please freely give in support of the valued community found here. Donations from our hard work and cherished time will go for the good efforts of this church. With these gifts, the church can guide us through difficult times, empower us to build our strength together, and celebrate with us each of our times of joy. For this, we, the church community, thank you. We'll now have a reading of Ecclesiastes 3, 1-8.
Ecclesiastes 3, 1-8. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to be injured, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. There ends the lesson.
We'd like to now sing the Big Fish Hawks or Big Fish Hawks have teeth? Asked Sal. No, said Father. Do loons have teeth? She asked. And gulls? No. Do seals have teeth? Yes, they have them, he answered. And do their teeth get loose like this one? Asked Sal, opening her mouth to show her loose tooth. Oh, she said with great surprise. She felt with her tongue. She felt with her muddy fingers. Why, it's gone, she said sadly, feeling once more just to make sure. The loose tooth was really and truly gone. It was too busy asking to do any swallowing. It just dropped itself out. It's gone, and I can't put it under my pillow to make my wish come true. That's too bad, her father sympathized, but you are into a big girl, and big girls don't cry about little things like that. They wait for another tooth to come loose and make a wish on that one. Thus endeth the reading. I'm not going to talk about anything new today or unfamiliar. There's nothing new under the sun, as they say. There are, however, points of view to be reminded of. I'm going to start with the invention of the wheel. Full appreciation of that event came to me when I was pushing toddler Ronnie in his stroller one day 25 years ago. It was a real chore to carry the wiggly 20-pound massive baby, but he was too small to walk for very long. As I pushed him, I thought, wow, what a great invention the wheel is. In 3000 BC, the people in the Fertile Crescent, which is the east end of the Mediterranean Sea, were hoping to build mementos to their leaders who had passed as houses for them in their afterlife. But the people did not want to lug those big hunks of stone very far. Necessity was the mother of invention when someone created discs off the ends of logs and then stuck an axle in the center of two of them. Voila! They could put the axles under the stones and build the pyramids. The idea caught on, making battle chariots to do the important work of conquering their neighbors. They had not heard of the second commandment, obviously. Wheeled carts also moved commerce forward exponentially. The science of a wheel holds a lesson for us in modern day. There's a point in the center of a round form, which does not favor any of its exterior points. It's neutral. This spot, the fulcrum, stays still while the rest of the wheel spins in free motion. We need to be the fulcrum in our lives, remaining stable while many elements spin around us. Like how we are when we're in our most balanced state, objective, centered, unmoving. But challenges encircle us, and yet we remain calm. I'm certainly in the midst of my whirling existence. Every time I turn on the TV, and turn refers to the round knob that we used to use to start the TV with, in this case, I brace myself for another horror. This week it was the shooting in Tennessee, one of 500 random shootings in this country this year. How did our modern society produce people, mostly young, who could carry out such atrocities? We have wandered. I look back at last year at this time when we were so absorbed with the virus, which was and its unknown qualities. That seemed like a simple time compared to now. The year before that, we had not heard of the virus, and that was a lot more simple. Now we have a world with a country that has angry, violent Taliban rule. We have still worse variant of the virus raging. We're reminded daily that we're not treating the minorities fairly, and we have heightened awareness of possible disasters that lie ahead in the climate change. One of my friend's children decided not to have children due to our current world problems. Yes, it's a lot to deal with, yet we are in church. We're forsaking all else we could be doing today to soak in guidance for the coming week. We're here to be reminded of our inner stable core, which we hold with the help of one another and our higher power. Here in our church, we have growing pains as we mature into a fully functioning entity based on lay leadership. Since we've started this format, I've noticed there are many churches that are doing the same thing. We may be doing it better, we may be doing it worse than another church, but let's appreciate the knowledge we're gaining to be better. Our concerns are painful, but they can also hold inspiration for us, depending on how we look at it. The song we'll dance to today says, "To turn and turn, 'twill be our delight, till be turning, we'll come round right." We will come round right with the efforts of many well-meaning church members. The present trials are exactly that, trials to find a better way, trials of our strength and conviction to keep this parish open and serving the community. The song says we must turn. We must view all that is in front of us, beside us, and behind us. Turning our heads to observe what's going on around us adds to our internal information with which we can make decisions. This is the process by which we come to the place of love and delight, which our song will say. In Robert McCloskey's brilliant, heartwarming story, One Morning in Maine, young Jane asks interminable questions as she digs clams with her dad. We do that daily, whether we voice them or not. Her young world comes to a stop when she loses the tooth she was going to make a wish on. That wish to her was the biggest event in her life, and now is not going to happen. Her dad, like a wise higher power, tells her not to worry, that she will have other teeth to wish upon. You're growing up. He hints that life is full of disappointments, so get used to it. It's only a replaceable tooth, not the actual end of the world, the way it seems to her in that moment. I wish my dad were here to comfort me, as Sal's did. How I miss both my parents and long for their advice, which I once thought so cumbersome and thought I was above. At any age, we want something, many things. We may not get them, but we know we're all growing up, always. To get better at stopping the upset within and look to the future and look on the bright side is the trick. At any moment, the pain of concern can be a lesson in gathering strength to face the next disappointment, which could be more dire. At this moment, we can gather strength with which to greet the future and the moments of loss. We sometimes have to be our own dads. Our own voice has got to be our encouragement. To get stuck pining over what we don't have is not constructive. We have our church, we have each other. We can stop the upset and look to the unknown future, for it holds simple gifts along with its challenges. And to everything there is a season, as Shirley read. Ecclesiastes summed it up. The time of my biggest trial held unlikely gifts. On January 5th, 2015, we got the news our son had passed away in avalanche in Austria. Where does one go from there? Infinite wishes, comfort coming from the ski community, circle of our friends, both local and from afar, carried us through that initial shock. And now, the continuing aftermath. In comparison to that day, my other days have been very good. I try to be the nucleus of my own life, doing small balancing routines like yoga, keeping in touch with friends, hiking, coming here to preach. Through that tragedy, I've learned so many things: to be compassionate, to know how to console others in times of loss. That was my time to mourn, and now it's my time to learn from that mourning and see my joys clearly. There's a time for every season as we watch the leaves become inflamed in their glory. The grand celebration before winter, which will also turn to spring. If we recognize where we are and really are there without judgment upon ourselves or others, we can be more objective and turn around and observe our situation. It's like sailing in a boat. One can only see what's within our view. Unseen dangers lurk. Luckily for modern boaters, there's GPS and radar to inform where the dangers are, things we cannot see. In life, it's our tuition, our knowledge from past experiences, and our strength from running into challenges previously that guide us through the rocky shoals. It's turning to watch and learn, which will take us to safety on the far shore. Yes, we have many issues to face. Each day dawns, and we can think of our challenges in different ways. As we examine them, we can discover. As we discuss, understand, educate ourselves on choices, we get closer to a solution. As we fatigue of seeking solutions, we take action. So let's consider life's bumps simple gifts. Let us be our own solid fulcrum. Let's take 60 seconds to be in our calm and let the spinning world go silently around us. May it be so. Thank you for listening. I'd like to have us do a circle dance now. We're going to sing the song of Simple Gifts, and then I'd like us to just get into a circle. You can take your insert with you, and we'll sing it while we're in a circle, and then Mary Brubaker and I will teach you a dance that is a very simple circle dance that we will do to simple gifts. Just a word about this song. It was composed by Joseph Brackett for a Shaker settlement in the 1800s. That Shaker settlement was in Gorham, Maine, and we actually had one out in Easton also. This tune was not well known outside the Shaker world until the great American composer Aaron Copland used it as part of the famous Appalachian Spring Ballet, written for Martha Graham's dance troupe in 1944. So please take your insert with you, and we'll form a circle. We don't need to hold hands, and we'll sing it through once, and then Mary and I will teach you a simple dance. Turn and turn, 'twill be our delight till by turning will come out right. Excellent. Quick. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time because we're so good at it now.
To be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to town where we are to be. And when we come around to a place just right, to be in the valley of love and light. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn and to turn will be our delight. By turning will come. You know what I'll do? I'll send you an email and I'll send you W9 so that when you see them, they can just fill it right out. Okay, that would just be easy because I signed off on everything on Friday because I was there. So yeah, and then I know that we need you for the rental of a lift. Okay, and do we need it again? You know?
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you, Lexi, for your patience.
I know.
Great. Yeah.